Overreaction. Penn State has the easiest path to the college football playoff semifinal. I'm stopping there, not saying championship. That's Penn State. And a lot of people think that. A lot of people have made that argument. A lot of people are already making that argument. In fact, I think their betting numbers are probably moving every single day. And that is Penn State would have the easiest path to the semifinal. Reality. That's Texas. Nope. Texas arguably has the easiest path to the semifinal. Got it? The difference would be, Oregon or Georgia for a third time. There you go. But as of right now, Oregon would get Tennessee or Ohio State as the winner in round 2. Just to put some numbers to that, ESPN gives Oregon a 20.4% chance to win it all. Pay attention to that number. Somebody's not far behind. Georgia gets the Indiana-Notre Dame winner, and they're at 16.6% chance to win the entire thing. How that ended up at 16.6, I have no idea. But then you get to Texas, who is just behind Oregon in terms of percentage to win the championship. And the reason why, I think, is because the computer or whoever is playing around with this is thinking exactly what I'm thinking. That is, they've got an easier path. Why would Texas have the easier path? Here you go. First, I wouldn't want any part. Now, look, no matter what in a playoff, which we're finally getting a playoff, however we arrived there, forget that for a second. I wouldn't want any part of Ohio State or Tennessee. And I certainly wouldn't want any part of the winner of Ohio State or Tennessee. That's a scary game. But Texas, who also had one of the easiest, maybe the second easiest schedule in the entire SEC, I think now gets the easiest path in the tournament. And they get a Clemson team that's not very good against the run. And not to get too nerdy with you, but if you can't stop the run against Texas, they're going to chew you up. Ask the Aggies how that works. It's hard to get the ball back. So it's a Clemson team that's not very good against the run. They're lucky to be playing right now, to be honest. So I think it's a fairly easy out for Texas. And then with a win, and I hope this happens just because I look forward to talking about the guy all the time. You have no idea who I'm going to give you a hint right now. You have no idea who Ivan Putski is. You'd have to be a longtime Austin resident, which means there's about 3 people that know what I'm talking about. Ivan Putski was a wrestler. He used to run a gym here, and I would see him all the time. And I think he went about 5'6", about 260. And all muscle. Like he was... you do leg curls when you lay down, you do the leg curls. I used to watch Ivan Putski do that with his head. He would stick his head in the leg curl machine, and he would lift up with his neck. So the reason why I bring this up is because I'm going to say this about an Arizona State player often. He's Ivan Putski out on the football field. So I hope that Texas beats Clemson just so they can play Arizona State, just so I can talk about the coolest player in the game today. He cracks me up. Not if you run into him, it's not much fun because the guy's a freaking beast. Cam Scatapoo. Now, I don't know what else Arizona State could do against Texas, and I don't really care right now because I just want to talk about Cam Scatapoo, who goes, 5'8", 240-ish, maybe? I don't know. He's tatted up, and he's looking for people to run into, and he's a beast. So Texas would get, assuming they beat Clemson, and I think it's 11-point line now, they would then get an Arizona State team that's missing their best receiver. Now, granted, they have the coolest player in the game. He's a dangerous player. He's a running back, and, but I'm not sure what else they really would have. So they get up against an Arizona State team that's a great story with a cool coach, cool player. It's a good feel-good story all the way around for Arizona State, but their defense probably can't hold up against Texas. It just probably can't. They don't have enough players yet. Then they'd get Oregon in a semifinal, but that's better than what? Georgia for a third time? I don't know. So I think Texas they didn't just get the second easiest schedule in the SEC. They got a really, really good draw in the tournament. I think it's the best. Reality is I think the easiest path to the semifinal. Of course, you're going to say none of it's easy, blah, 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 blah. But relatively speaking, it's easier than others. Overreaction. Detroit has the best roster in the NFL. Reality. They did in September. They did in October. They did in part of November. Not now. No. Not now. In fairness, it's bad luck. Although I can talk about their coach as being a real problem down the stretch. But no, they don't have the best roster anymore. They've got some great parts, but they've got a giant problem. And I can set it up by using the Kansas City Chiefs as the example. So Detroit's not just really good on offense, they're great on offense. It's a great offense. Their defense is absolutely shredded. There's not a heck of a lot left. In fact, in their loss to Buffalo in Detroit, they lost 3 more defensive players. And they couldn't even afford to lose 1 or 2 of those, and they've lost 3. So they lost to Buffalo. Here's my point. This is why if you're trying, I wonder what the betting numbers are doing on Detroit. The reality is if you're trying to handicap this down the stretch, always bet on defense. Always. Great defense beats great offense. You can't survive with just great offense. You want an example? I give you Detroit as the perfect example. The flip side to that is Kansas City. Detroit and Buffalo played in a game. It's like a video game, but it was cool. They had 96 points, 1,080 yards, and Jared Goff did something that's never been done in the NFL. See, this is a giant problem. This is not a good bet anymore. He went 38 of 59. He had 494 yards. He had 5 touchdowns. Even better, he had no interceptions, and he threw touchdowns to 5 different players. It's never been done before, and they lost. They lost at home. That's almost impossible to do. Really. So he's the first player in NFL history to throw for 400 yards, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions, and lose a game. Yeah, that's ridiculous. And Detroit now at 12-2, I guess they're tied with Philadelphia. Of the two, here's a simple way to look at this right now. Right now, being objective. Remember, this is reality. You're checking all emotion. If you had to pick a NFC champion team between Detroit and Philadelphia, what do you pick? It's not even close, right? I bet it's not even close. So, I'll say, here's the thing, okay? So they sit at 12-2. Everybody's excited by the offense. As usual, everyone talks about offense and fantasy points and quarterbacks and all that stuff, and they lost, okay? Great offense can win pretty often. Got it? But their defense is toast. Great defense always wins. I give you the Kansas City Chiefs. There's the difference. One of them keeps cruising along. One of them keeps winning championships, and the other one is lighting it up. And you're crazy if you think they can keep playing like that and sustain it. They lost already.